Good morning, beloveds. It is Wednesday. It is March 16th. So we are between the Ides of March and St. Patrick's Day. And our title is I Am Endowed with the Perfection of God. And our quote is from Matthew 5:48. Be ye therefore perfect, even as spirit which is in heaven is perfect. All right. When Jesus said, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which art in heaven, in parentheses, within you is perfect, he was telling us that there is a perfection at the center of all things, which, recognized, will spring into being. We must learn to identify ourselves with this perfection, to so accept it that it is real to us, and to so live that it may be expressed through us. Every organ, action, and function of our physical body is rooted in spiritual perfection, from which it draws its life. If this were not true, we could not be here. No matter how imperfect the appearance may be, or painful, or discordant, there is still an underlying perfection, an inner wholeness, a complete and perfect life, which is God. Therefore, I say to my physical body, be ye therefore perfect, because you are already perfect in the divine sight. There is one life. That life is God. That life is your life now. This life circulates through you. It animates your whole being. You are one with its peace and its wholeness. There is no inaction in this divine life. There is no stoppage, nor hindrance, nor obstruction to it. And whatever may seem to be the contrary is false. To the contrary is false. For I am identifying my physical body with the body of pure spirit. I am opening my mind as a channel for the realization of the divine presence. I affirm it and accept it. There is nothing in me that can deny or reject it, because God is perfect. I am perfect. Quietly, I affirm and reaffirm these simple statements until they sink into my consciousness and become a habit pattern of thought, which is no longer rejected. With complete conviction, I accept the wholeness of spirit, and as I do so, I identify myself and everything that I am with the harmony and perfection and the wholeness of the life of God. What'd you expect to happen? You walked away. Okay. So let's start with an old saw, which is the idea of perfect. And the idea of perfect, if you look it up in the dictionary, the idea of perfect is complete. It is not flawless. Okay. So there's a couple of different ways to look at the idea of perfect. And for a lot of people, perfect can ring kind of hard on the ears. So if that word does not, if that word doesn't ring well with you, then change the word. But the idea is complete. It means whole. It means it includes everything. So that would be the first place to start. The second thing in this is the idea, and I like to use it as to go back to God's idea of us. All right? Because God's idea of us is whole, is perfect. Everything works the way it should. So somewhere in here he said, though imperfect, no matter how imperfect the appearance may be. You all right? Okay. Bless you. Cat sneezing. No matter how imperfect the appearance may be, there is a perfect idea of you. There is a whole idea of you. There is an idea of you where everything works exactly the way it should. And that's God's idea. And so the idea is to go back to that idea. That's one of the reasons why I like to recommend The Quantum Doctor by Amit Goswami. Because he talks about the 5 bodies. He calls it the gross body, but because I don't like that term. It's like, I call that the material body. And he says there's a bliss body, and the bliss body is God's idea of you. And then the material body is the actual manifestation in the material world. And then there's three bodies in between, and one of them has to do with emotion, and one of them has to do with um, mental, like thought. And I always forget the third one. So um so that's where time comes in, because for an idea to get from the material body to the bliss body, or from the bliss body to the material body, it takes time. And so we can allow for that. It's like, yes, if you play hardball metaphysics, then you can do an instantaneous change. But most of us aren't quite that connected. We're just not. We're busy. That's really what it is. We're busy. We don't have time to go sit on a mountaintop and just, focus. So we do this in snatches of time, which is one of the reasons why he said a habit pattern of thought. And that's one of the other things that's super important, is that habit pattern of thought, where, if we're constantly thinking negatively about our body, that's a pattern of thought. So maybe we want to change that and go back to God's idea, that bliss body and use that as the blueprint, because that is the blueprint of our body. And then, we have free choice. And so we make choices, and then the body changes. So, okay. I am endowed with the perfection of God. Be ye therefore perfect, even as God which is in heaven is perfect. And that is Matthew 5:48. And then Jesus again quotes it, because this is Ernest quoting Jesus. When Jesus said, be ye therefore perfect, even as God which is in heaven, and then he opens parentheses, within you. Ernest is reminding you that heaven is within you. It's not somewhere outside. It's not up there. It is within you. Is perfect. He was telling us that there is a perfection at the center of all things. And that's where that place that Jesse says, go, that place where nothing has ever been wrong. It is in the unseen. The place where nothing has ever been wrong. It is in the place of ideas. And that's where we go. We go to take a look at the blueprints and go, oh, this is how it's supposed to work. All right, let's work on that. And it may mean we need to make different material choices, but the place to start is in the unseen, in that place where nothing has ever been wrong. Which, recognized, will spring into being. And that's that idea of spirit taking, for every step we take towards spirit, spirit takes 2 steps towards us. But we got to make the first move. We must learn to identify ourselves with this perfection, to so accept that it is real to us, and to so live that it may be expressed through us. And that's the idea. It's like we got to accept the idea, and then we got to express the idea. The first step is acceptance, and then we can express it. We got to believe it. Every organ, action, and function of our physical body is rooted in spiritual perfection. It's rooted in that bliss body from which it draws its life. Now, I will grant you, these bodies were not meant to last forever. They're not. Because we have other things to do, and these bodies won't do them. And so, there will come a time that this body will come off. So bear that in mind. These bodies are not meant to last forever. And that's okay. But while they are here, we got to remember that they're plugged into a perfect, they're plugged into wholeness. They're plugged into completeness. They are animated by a spirit, which, if we can get out of spirit's way, will take care of this body. All right? If this were not true, we could not be here. No matter how imperfect the appearance may be, or painful, or discordant, there is still an underlying perfection, an inner wholeness, a complete and perfect life. which is God. So he makes allowances. This body, sometimes it just doesn't work the way we expect it to. But God's still there. The perfection is still there. The wholeness is still there. And we can get on with this. All right. And I like in this one, in his treatment, he says you, not me. He says you. So, because you're talking to your body. And that's exactly what this is. So feel free to use any of these words. I love that he uses you. Therefore, I say to my physical body, and it opens quotes, be ye therefore perfect, because you are already perfect in divine sight. There is one life. That life is God. That life is your life now. This life circulates through you. It animates your whole being. You are one with its peace and wholeness. There is no inaction in this divine life. There is no stoppage, nor hindrance, nor obstruction to it. And here's what I like. He's doing a treatment, because you heard the first step, you heard the realization, and he's doing denials in the middle of it. That's what it says. That's what it is. There is no stoppage, no hindrance, no obstruction to it. That's a denial. That's saying this, and then he proceeds to turn around and say, whatever may seem to be contrary is false, for I am identifying my physical body with the body of the pure spirit. So if you're going to use a denial in treatment, that's the way you do it. You make your statement, you deny what it is that you are working on, and then you follow that up with an affirmation that countermands the denial, if that makes sense. It's like, okay, this is not happening. This is what's happening instead. This is an excellent example of how to use a denial in treatment. And I lost my place. I am opening my mind as a channel for the realization of the divine presence. I affirm it and accept it. There is nothing in me that can deny or reject it, because God is perfect. I am perfect. All right. Because God is perfect. I am perfect. Because I am made from, by, of God. All right. Because God is perfect. I am perfect. Because God is perfect. You are perfect. Quietly, I affirm and reaffirm these simple statements until they sink into my consciousness and become a habit pattern of thought. And there it is. That's why we talk about the pattern of thought. We don't worry about the little individual weeds, although we do want to if we start noticing a lot of those weeds, we want to get in there and pull them out. But we want to worry, what we are concerned about is the pattern of thought. All right. With complete conviction, I accept the wholeness of the Spirit, and as I do so, I identify myself and everything that I am with the harmony and perfection and the wholeness of the life of God. Because what life are we living? We are living the life of God. All right, the mission today, should we choose to accept it? And we'll use this one. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to open our mind as a channel for the realization of the divine presence. And the divine presence reminds us God is perfect, and we are made of, by, for, therefore, we are perfect. We are whole, we are complete, we are perfect just as we are. All right? No matter how imperfect the appearances may be, the truth of us is perfect. All right, beloveds. I'm also going to encourage you, as I always do, to do something loving for yourself, to do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like. Big, small, does not matter. The point is the spiritual practice of being loving, being kind, and being compassionate with yourself. You deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. It also helps to create a bank so that no matter what happens in the day, you can be loving, kind, and compassionate with yourself and everybody else. All right. That's the goal here. That is the goal, to create a loving, kind, compassionate world. And we do it by practicing on ourselves. Okay. I also encourage you, as I always do, to do something to engage your mind and your body. I went to the gym today. Go get that face full of bright light. The time changes a little, but that'll help. If the time change is still throwing you, go get that face full of light. It will reset those hormones and kind of get you going. And drink plenty of water. Big believer in drinking a lot of water. I'm a believer in hydration. So take care of yourself, and open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around you all the time. And how do we find it? By looking for the good. Emma was right. Look for the good and praise it. Okay, I got stuff to do. Starting with, we have a soul session tonight, so it should be interesting. It's a panel discussion. You will actually get to meet if not the entire panel of Be the Change, you'll get to meet most of the panel for Be the Change. The people who have come together, who've said, we want a world that works for everybody, and this is the way we are contributing to that. So please catch that. It will be on Facebook Live around 7 p.m. Central. And then it'll be up on YouTube. Basically, with that one, I don't have to do any editing, so I can just download it and upload it. So I will have that one up pretty soon too. And share it with all your friends. All right. Catch us on all those social medias, i.e. the Creative Life Spiritual Center YouTube and YouTube channel. I'm the running Rev Ryan. I have both a YouTube and a Facebook and Instagram. Creative Life's Instagram and TikTok is Creative Life Spark. So it's there. All kinds of good stuff. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. All right. You want to know what else is going on? Email info@creativelife.org. But have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day. A bliss body day. A good life day. A get stuff done day. A wondrous day. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. All right, beloveds, I will see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Actually, I will see you at 7 p.m. tonight. But Reverend David should be out around 5 p.m. with you. So take care of yourselves. Know that you are loved. I will see you soon.